Hello everyone, I'm the Legend of the S and welcome not to another stream, and the first time a stream a little bit different because this stream is gonna go much more into a predictions realm, not really me talking. It's been a while since I've even streamed, so yeah. But as the title says, some predictions for tonight's Mr. Sakurai presents Sephiroth, and maybe we'll delve into a little bit of the future, as in the place of oh, not we'll not try to. We will dive into the possibilities of the future and some things I've noticed that could be hints. Probably won't be, but it's fun to speculate. So they might just be speculative hints to what could be coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for DLCs. Well, characters, fighters 9, 8, no, 9, 10, and 11 because I thought of is 8. I won't be playing. I'll be just talking mostly over because it's Sephiroth. I think it's appropriate if we include the you know square characters to fight it. I play or I talk. There it is. Let's put them at level 9, strong level, just so it's a much more interesting fight. But anyway, let's talk about what we can expect for tonight. Oh, yeah, well, tonight for me, it will be early in the morning or early in other countries. But not for me, obviously. For me, it will be 10 p.m., I believe, at night. So yeah, well, Twitch is not really starting from my understanding. I'm trying to look at it, if it's opening or not, but I don't believe it is. I believe it's working, but I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna keep on talking. I think the bot will still be up no matter what. So, what can we expect for tonight for Sephiroth? Obviously, Nintendo confirmed, only in Japan, funnily enough, that there won't be any more character announcements, any more character reveals. So, it's Sephiroth and only Sephiroth we're going to be talking about. So, good. That's interesting. But obviously, Sephiroth will have some interesting things. Not only how one Winged Angel will work, I think it's going to be very much like a Cloud Limit Break. I just think it's going to be a combination of Limit Break. It's probably going to be more like Arsene than Limit Break. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what's going to be. But I think it's going to be like supercharged moves. I think, like, for example, the side B, I think we've completely seen that's different. Like when it's regular, Sephiroth, he just snaps his fingers and you get with the 3 balls around it. I know there's a name for it, I just don't know it. I'm sorry, don't kill me, Final Fantasy fans. I'm expecting that to then change to that big explosion, which will be it, I think. Well, obviously, we're going to detail a lot of the moves because we don't know a lot of the moves, to be fair. We don't know a lot of the moves. I think there's going to be more, obviously, information regarding the DLC in terms of actual fighter, not actual fighter, but like in a sense of the moveset, obviously, and what changes more importantly are coming to Cloud. I say more important because like Cloud might, like Sephiroth's reveal already was gigantic. If we get something in this direct, in this presentation, that could also be gigantic. Recently, because of Cyberpunk 2077, not because of the game being bad or anything. I've actually enjoyed what I've played, but I know it's has limitations and technical problems. I kind of sort of have been discussing and floating around the idea that I'm gonna change pieces on my PC, but never up until now did I say it with my mic on the PC. Most of the time it has been without it. And since I've discussed this, my PC is having a lot of issues because I need to change. Like, I want to change my CPU. I want to change. Okay, so everything's not working. I want to change my CPU. I want to change my RAM. I want to change my graphics card. And it seems very fun that, like, as soon as I start discussing the possibilities, my PC starts hamping up the small problems that he had now to 11. Might just froze. Okay. Wait. Okay, well, it was the game. Yeah, it was the game. Okay. So let me just resume because it's clear it's not working. It's now working, I should say. Right. Where was I? Talking about Cloud. Yeah, Cloud's changing moveset would be interesting to see. It could mean something major could be coming to Super Smash Brothers, because that would mean that more characters could be worked on, and there are characters that kind of need it in a way, or kind of tweaks and stuff. So that'll be very interesting, or even changes in the Final Smash would be interesting to see. And also depends on what the Final Smash will be. Will Cloud have a Final Smash? Should he have a limit break? Because it did have limit activated when he was fighting, when he went for Omni Slash version 5. Kind of like it happening now. He has a limit on and he used Omni Slash, or will it be only for Sephiroth? Will it be only utilized against Sephiroth? That's the interesting thing to note, to see. Now Malgato's really lagging. I don't know why. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna put them fighting again with a different skin for the hero, which is very interesting. Oh, thank you for the follow, Hello Coyote on Twitch. I believe you're the third person or fourth person that Twitch has ever given me an actual warning that or a notification that he's now following. But thank you for the follow. Where was I? Yeah, Cloud's getting a different Final Smash could show that they might be more interested and open to the idea of changing up characters' movesets. I didn't even see that you were on the chat, Coyote, because I was trying to figure out if the Elgato was working or not. But where was I? Oh yeah, the changing of the Final Smash could indicate they're more open to the idea of changing movesets and changing things as they go, which would be very much interesting to go on, and something that we haven't seen before. Like, we have obviously changes happening throughout the games and happening most of the time, like just like balancing patches, but a full-blown move change would be cool, depending obviously how Cloud's moveset change is. If it's just for Sephiroth, then it's occasional. Limit Break, even Limit Break would be occasional, but it'll be interesting to see if they would change up other people. Now, let's go over a little bit of before we get to cards, let's talk about spirits. Most of the spirits probably will be Final Fantasy ones, which finally, oh my god, Cloud just killed himself. Even the CPU kills himself, which is lovely. What's that? So I was saying, yeah, spirits. Most likely the spirits will be Final Fantasy VII themed. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't. Probably will be seeing a lot of them probably might even turn into costumes. I think guaranteed ones would probably be Aerith, Tifa, and Barrett. Those are absolutely the ones that are going to be showcasing. Then there, oh, wow, this match went far faster than the other one and was not as close. So I think I'll put Cloud now in the Advent Children costume. I don't know much more about the characters from Final Fantasy VII. I know there's like Kaitha or whatever it's called. I forget the name. Maybe Zack, because I don't know if it's an actual character from Advent Children, from a regular game or Advent Children. So the possibility is there for just the costume, or for the spirit. There's other spirits they could do from either villains from Final Fantasy VII. It's going to be interesting if they're going to choose regular vanilla, let's put it that way, Final Fantasy VII, or they're just going to go with Final Fantasy Remake. I do believe that the final boss, or the smash, the final smash for Sephiroth is his Safer Sephiroth form, which is a funny name in my opinion. That could indicate they might going old school Final Fantasy, or not. They could just be like, well, for Sephiroth's moveset and Final Smash we have to go old school, but for everything else we're gonna go new school with everything that's going on. Also, like Sephiroth, not Sephiroth, but Final Fantasy VII, I don't think obviously he's going to be here, but I think it's going to be a part of like most likely the first Nintendo Direct of the year, be it regular Nintendo Directs or a mini Direct that they stream or a partner showcase that they stream. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake somehow, some way will be announced for the Switch. Don't ask me how it is going to work, because there's a crap ton of possibilities. It could just be cloud version like we've been seeing with other games. It could just be an actual port. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm pretty sure they are going to be doing. Hello, the armchair analysis. Welcome to the stream. Um, where was I? Oh yeah. Next, before we go on to costumes, which is going to be the costumes is going to be the most interesting part of the direct, in my opinion. Let's talk about the stage. I believe the stage is like the final areas of Final Fantasy VII. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to put in any type of stage hazards like they did with Midgar, be it summons, be it bosses. It's going to be cool to see being even a stage transformation of how the stage, like the platforms move around. It could be interesting to see to do that. I hope that during the presentation Sakurai doesn't do what he did with Terry, which is showing us the I'll get to that in a little bit, which is gonna be, I think that's the thing that most people don't want to see. Um, I was talking about the stage, right? Yeah, the stage transformations, all that could be cool. Um, with people have been talking about possibly them changing up a little bit of the story mode of World of Light. I don't think they will do anything to World of Light, particularly because they didn't do it before. I don't think Sephiroth will change it. They could include him as a final boss of sorts, or a secret boss. They could include another Sephiroth form, Sephiroth becoming an actual boss character like they did with the Ganon and Giga Bowser forms. Is it possible? Yes. Will we be seeing it? Probably not. One thing I think would be interesting to see, because Sephiroth has his history of being a secret boss and being the final boss of Final Fantasy VII. They could finally include the boss rush mode that many of us have been predicting for God knows how long, and that would be an interesting one to see if they do it or not. Hopefully they do, and I can include a few more bosses, but I wouldn't hold on it. Sakurai did say that they were not doing any more, or that the final one was what was it? It was the home run contest was the last one, but you never know when this type of stuff. And now we get to the interesting part, which will be the Mii costumes. Mii costumes, I think, is going to be the funnest part of this direct to watch, especially afterwards. When it comes to Mii costumes, I think we can all be in agreement that there are some that we all kind of think are going to happen. The Chocobo hat will return, most likely. Tifa probably will be a Mii brawler. Um, Barrett, a Mii gunner, and maybe Aerith as a not gunner, sword fighter. I know she's not really a sword fighter, but I don't see Aerith fitting into the others. Maybe gunner, possibly. From very little I played of Final Fantasy VII, which I've done to replaying it or start playing it again on Switch. She has a staff, so maybe they can work it as a sword. And it's an interesting one to say the least. Now we get to why the Mii's are going to be possibly the most interesting part of this entire thing, because it depends on what we're going to see, right? Because when the Mii costumes happen, when it's a third party, a lot of times it means, and if they get in as it, probably means they're going to be out of DLC. Possibly for the entire thing of Smash Ultimate. I think that even if we get a Fighter's Pass 3, I think Mii costumes that they had decided upon before the deals are stricken or done could be a thing. Could become characters later on. For example, Sans or Cuphead theoretically would be possible for a Fighter's Pass 3 should Fighter's Pass 3 had been decided, say, August of this year instead of August last year, which probably be it. And that's what I was going to get to, Mr. Armchair, is that Gino might be a returning one, and it could be the deluxe one. I think it's going to be the deluxe one will be Gino. Sora, it's a little bit weird, although I think that would be hilarious to see. I don't think Sora will be a Mii costume, just over the fact of what we allegedly heard. If that's true, what I believe if you pronounce his name is Inran Khan. If what he reported is true, that Nintendo went to Disney asking for Sora, and Disney asked for way too much money. I don't see them going to them if it's too much money for a character. Maybe the costume would have been cheaper, but with the song, the Disney probably would have upped the ante. I think it's far more likely that we see Gino return as a Mii costume, maybe like and as a Mii costume, not like it was in Smash 4, but very much more as a Mii costume has um, we've had now with Cuphead, with Sans, where it's an Vault Boy, where it's an actual costume. It's just a character that happens not to be a character. The character itself and just being a costume. I think that's what's going to happen with Gino, and he's probably going to have Beware of the Mushrooms, or Mushroom Force, I think that's the name of the song, be included with him. But also, one more thing that's going to be very interesting to see with the the Mii costumes is there's also now a theory floating around that maybe um, Gino and the Chocobo costume were supposed to return last year. Forest Maze, that's the song. Thank you. I thought it was Beware of the Mushroom for some reason. Maybe it is. And there's multiple names for the song in different regions. Um, but the game did not launch in Europe. Yeah, it's still Japan. Crazy. Um, that maybe Hero was supposed to bring in Chocobo and Gino, but didn't, mostly because the deals for the next wave of characters or for Fighters Pass 2 was done around that time period and it kind of fits because allegedly it was during E3 that they did it, of E3 2019. So maybe because Hero's presentation was filmed like a couple weeks later, so it's possible. It's also going to be interesting to know when this Sakurai Presents was done. If it was done like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, it's going to be interesting just to see how far um, behind, let's put it that way, the things are recorded. Because we know Pilot was recorded in November, and Hero was done in July, or early July, late June. And then Banjo-Kazooie was done a few days later, and Terry was done around the time of the Direct, I think. I could be wrong, but I think it was. Um, so we have that going for it. Okay, so I've talked about the spirits, the Mii costumes. Oh, music. Let's talk music. Music, I think, hopefully we'll get more than 2 songs this time. And even if we get 2 songs, I hope that the 2 songs that come with Sephiroth are not just one Winged Angel and one more song. I would love to be like if it is 2, it's like one Winged Angel, one more song from Final Fantasy VII, and like maybe one remake of a song, a remix of a song, maybe the regular fighting song, battle theme from Final Fantasy gets redone by the Smash team. I think will be cool to see, even if it's just like the songs already in the game. Like Final Fantasy has 2 songs, and they're just ripped straight out of Final Fantasy VII. And maybe they just do it Final Fantasy VII remix versions of them, which is okay, I guess, as long as we get more songs. Final Fantasy keeps on being like the franchise with the best representation and the worst representation. I say best as in playable characters. Okay, so probably I should have said Final Fantasy, the franchise with the playable character worst representation, because they don't have anything outside of Cloud and Midgard and 2 songs. We don't even get spirits, not even artwork, original artwork for Cloud we get. It's just Cloud, as in his art design and things. Also, the other thing, now talking about Cloud, I remember the the trail for Sephiroth is interesting for a number of reasons. We'll get to that in a little bit. And try to predict the future post post Sephiroth. That is, Cloud ends the trailer. In the entire trailer, he's Advent Children Cloud, but he ends the trailer with a different sword. It's a different type of Buster Sword. After he uses Omni Slash version 5, he has a different Buster Sword. The question now is, will that, because rarely do they put things in the CGI trailer, they're not in the game, even well, outside of songs, but like even Luigi's Poltergust. It was the first time we saw that Poltergust coming, and that was the new updated version of the Poltergust. You know, it wasn't just one made for the trailer. It was the actual new Poltergust, or Poltergust that we're going to be getting in Luigi's Mansion 3. So I do wonder, and it did work the same way in Smash as it would, or it did in the trailer. So I do wonder if we're going to be seeing that in the release, or Cloud getting an updated um, Final Smash. Now, not Final Smash, costume. The interesting thing is that Cloud in that trailer has is in the costume, the Final Fantasy Advent Children one, that doesn't have the sleeve up. The one you can see the little insignia, I believe, or the armband, a little bit, the little thing he has on his left arm. The interesting thing is that although the trailer ends with him with the new the different sword, he still doesn't really use the new. You don't really see it in the trailer that he or in the final smash when it's Sephiroth. When you see Sephiroth, you just see Cloud with the Buster Sword. The thing is, in that one, not only you cannot see his left arm. You can see that he has the regular Buster Sword or the Final Advent Children Buster Sword, but you cannot see like the left arm. We don't know if it's the same costume or not. It could be the one right now on screen that doesn't have the armband, the sleeve off, and you can see the little thingy. It could just be, and it could be that they are going to update a Cloud costume as well, which again would be very good, signal showcasing that they might be more open to updating characters as we go, which would be very, very cool. Now, let's move on to talking about the possibility, what could come from, or what could the Sephiroth trailer show us about the possible future of the Fighter's Pass. So before we even get to the future of the Fighter's Pass, I think the first thing we can talk about is who we can expect, or when we can expect the next DLC character. And I would be reminiscent if I didn't say that the next character I think is going to come around in March. It just fits the time period. It fits the how fighters have been done. If you recall, last time we got last year we got Terry in November, and then the next character, Byleth, launched late January. I think that this time, and it was, I believe Terry was early November, if I'm not mistaken. And if it keeps going, I think it's going to be like mid. I think Sephiroth is going to launch a little bit after the presentation. I think it's going to be going from like mid December to possibly like mid to late February to mid March. I think that's when it kind of, if he follows the same line, which we can't really say will, because you know COVID really changed things up, didn't it? And that's also that, by the way, that's the thing I was talking about. Like you can see right there in his arm of the thingy. Um, when it comes to the costume and changing the sword. So maybe that's when we're going to be getting the next DLC character. Possibly, maybe, should things proceed naturally, should there's not be any big troubles. I believe Sakurai said that there wasn't too many problems, but you never know. COVID effed everything up, and we don't know how 2021 is going to go. The future is still uncertain, so let's keep calm and wait and see. But I do believe we're going to probably see it from mid to late February to mid-March. I think that's the possible time frame we're going to be getting from it. However, I do think we might kind of already know March 9. You think March for 9 for Fighter 9, June for 10? Possibly. I think that's a very good prediction. I don't think that December for Fighter 11 would really fit, because that would be a huge time frame, especially if things go back to somewhat normal, especially with the vaccine being around that June summertime, when the vaccine is going to be much more readily available, if the vaccines truly work and it's not just luck of the draw, let's put it that way, or they have even more problems than we could think. But February, March, June, July, I think going to be the time periods where we're going to be seeing the fighters. Now, I was going to say is regarding the actual who the next fighter is. I think the Sephiroth trailer did something very interesting. I think that, by the way, I think Sephiroth and Steve were going to be the Smash characters announced at E3, possibly. And it also makes me think of who was going to be first in terms of announcement. Because if, for example, it happened that they decided to announce Sephiroth before Steve, the trailer would have given us few hints at Steve, I think, possibly. Even if he came afterwards. It's very interesting to see the trailer, because the trailer teased Sephiroth throughout the entirety of the fight against Galeem before Sephiroth shows up. Obviously, it's Galeem, you know, has wings. That's the only thing really that connects him to Sephiroth. But then we see Pit and Banjo-Kazooie. First, the trailer begins with like the character closest to the screen is Hero, which is a Square character, which was, by the way, I think the second time only that a Square character showed up in one of the CGI trailers outside of the Hero reveal trailer. This is the second time we've ever gotten a character from Square in one of these trailers. Followed up by what was it? It was we see Pit, who, by the way, only has one wing up. You can only see one of his wings, which is really cool. I don't think that we're going to be seeing that type of correlation. Not anymore. I used to think that maybe they will do like announcements that would go with synergy of things. But I don't think, by the way, I don't think we're going to be getting a Capcom character. I think I saw some people point out it's true. I think that if Capcom was going to be getting a character, we probably would have already gotten it leaked by the massive campaign that's going on. We just found out recently that Nintendo paid for part of the exclusivity from PC for like I think 9 months. I think they like paid 6 million or 15. I've heard 15. I heard 6. I think it's 6. Don't quote me on that. I think we would have heard it by now if a Capcom character was going to be a part of it. But that's also the other thing I was going to say that kind of sort. I think we might be a way of looking way too much into the Sephiroth trailer, but it's possible that the Sephiroth trailer hints at it, because Sephiroth was, you could say, was kind of hinted at by. Okay, I think my Elgato froze. Wait. You tried to. Okay. I thought for a second my Elgato was stopped streaming, which was weird. Where was I? Oh yeah, Sephiroth or Final Fantasy was talked about a little bit in the Smash Direct or the Smash presentation for Steve when Steve is mining. I think in the Japanese version where they talk about the Geomancer. I think I saw a little bit of that screenshot, and what people were talking about, it was like they kind of referenced Final Fantasy in that Direct, so maybe. But what I was gonna say, maybe you can look at what the theory or thing I think we're gonna be that Sephiroth kind of hints at for the future, because again they were teasing a little bit of Sephiroth before they showcased him. Obviously Galeem with his angel wings, and then Pit, who's an angel, only had one wing up, the other one was down. Banjo-Kazooie only has one wing up, and you know, Sephiroth is the one-winged angel, which is cool. The really fun way to do it. But also another very interesting thing about the trailers, it's the Square ones are back to back. Well, not back to back, but both of them are very interesting in the way of Hero was a character that was revealed in the World of Dark part of the World of Light of the story mode, bringing light into the darkness, while Sephiroth was introduced against Galeem, you know, the villain, let's put it that way, of the World of Light, and Sephiroth brought darkness into the World of Light. I thought that was a really cool correlation and duality that they did there with both of the Square characters. Of one brings the light to the darkness, and the other one brings the darkness to the light, which I think was really cool. And obviously one of the things that I think Sakurai planned the hell out of it for it. Then again, the trailer was basically, from my understanding, just a huge love letter to Final Fantasy Advent Children. So that's a cool touch for the people that like Final Fantasy and the Advent Children thing. What was I? Oh yeah, what I think could have been teased. This part, it might be looking way too much into it, but it also could be a fun way of like, this was a good tease that they did. Now, if you look at the trailer, the Sephiroth trailer, and I could be misremembering some or some of the characters that were not there, or forgetting somebody that was there. If you look at the companies involved in the trailer, you have Nintendo, obviously, and you have Square Enix, obviously, and then there's the characters that really sort of don't make sense. They make sense to be there, but they're third-party characters that are there. You have um, Sega characters in Sonic and Bayonetta. We have um, obviously the Square characters being also Hero, which is I believe um, the second time um, a character. I think it's the first time a character has appeared twice in CGI trailers. Crash, yeah, Crash would be cool, but I don't think he will be in just because of this little thing that I'm talking about right now, and I'll get to it. I'll explain it at the end, a little bit more in the end. But again, we had Sega with Sonic and Bayonetta, which Bayonetta got her ass whooped. You get Konami with Richter Belmont, which only showed up for a little bit, but he showed up. Obviously Square with all three characters. Um, and who was the final one? Oh, Microsoft with Banjo-Kazooie. And what's interesting is that obviously Nintendo had to negotiate with all these companies to have the characters in the trailers. I believe the only reason like that this was the first time we saw Cloud in the trailer because Square might have not allowed it. That's what I believe what I was told, and I think that makes sense for Square dictating what Nintendo can and can't do with a character in the trailers. But if we take like the somewhat approach of like these companies are still involved in the DLC, as like maybe Nintendo had to go to the deals and like, can we use this character for this trailer? Because like none of these characters were just revealed. All of these characters were revealed prior, already were in the game. What's funny is that most of these companies, only one of these companies, had to be negotiated recently. You know, Nintendo negotiated recently with, or quote unquote recent, with Microsoft to have Minecraft Steve into it. So let's say that at E3 they had done the reveals of Sephiroth first, Steve later. Sephiroth opens, Steve closes it. Very much like they did with Banjo and Kazooie and Dragon Quest Hero, where the Hero opened E3 and Banjo closed E3. Let's say they did that. If they did that, they would be having on the trailer Nintendo, Microsoft, Sega, and Konami, and Microsoft would have gotten one more character a little bit later. And then we are left with two companies that are in the trailer that they haven't gotten a character yet. That Nintendo may or may have not been negotiating to get more characters as DLC. Maybe. We don't know. This is speculation, obviously. What I think is that possibly this might be working way too deep into this, as we might be getting a little bit of a tease at who or what companies are going to be involved with the rest of the DLC. Because Konami was not involved in a single trailer outside of the Belmonts and World of Light, the story mode stuff. Same thing with Sega, outside of the hero, not the hero, the what's the name? Joker trailer, and even the Joker was not CGI. And Banjo-Kazooie was involved in obviously only Banjo-Kazooie trailer, was not involved with Steve. I think we might already be giving these three. I think the same of these Final Spence is giving reps to already present third parties. That's why I believe the final three will be from Bandai, Namco, Sega, and Capcom. Well, I agree with one of those characters. I think Sega will be getting one. I think the other two, one will be for Konami, and the other one, although it's not third party, would be interesting enough, I think will be Pokemon, because that was the third company. If we look at it, there's four companies represented. You have Nintendo, with all the Nintendo reps, of all the Nintendo actually 100% owned characters in Mario, it's Mario, Zelda, Shulk, who else do they have in that trailer that's from Nintendo only? Pit, or Nintendo subsidiaries like, Nintendo first party studios, and King K. Rool, which although was created by Rare, it's 100% Nintendo nowadays because Rare belongs to Microsoft and Nintendo owns all the properties. But then it had the Square characters, Microsoft, Sega, and although technically speaking it's a first-party company or IP in Pokemon, it's also a second-party IP. And Pokemon have yet to appear on a single trailer outside of the World of Light stuff. And we had Pikachu dead in the water, basically. Pikachu was beaten up. Mewtwo actually showing signs of defeat and being beaten up. And we ended up with Greninja joining Bayonetta, attacking the Sephiroth. So what I think, personally, and this might be a huge risk, a huge stretch, is that the final three characters, one will be from the Pokemon company, Game Freak. I would say Game Freak, but Game Freak really doesn't have really that many franchises outside of Pokemon. The other one will be from Sega, and the third one will be from Konami. Now, the Konami one is the one that I'm like a little bit iffy on how or who it would be, because like now the door is wide open for characters from previous already announced franchise already in Smash to be in the game. So I would say that probably from Sega. I know some people are floating around the idea of Arlie. I believe that's how you say your name, from Puyo Puyo Tetris. But I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think that's really big of a character. I think it's a niche character that's gotten more visibility than actual requests, as like some people talk about it and ad nauseum and grows a little bit. I think that maybe she'll be in, and maybe she is more popular than I think. I do think they're gonna keep on going, let's put it this way, a little bit of a trend, or continue with the idea of what Sephiroth brought in and bring in another villain, which Sephiroth also was the first villain from a third party and the first DLC villain, unless you count Mewtwo, which I really don't, because like he's really not a villain. You might say that he's a villain in the first Pokemon movie, but even then I would be like, is he really? I mean, sure he is, but like by the end he's not really, and all that stuff. I don't think in Smash he's even classified as a villain. But that's sort of an opinion based, and even then he probably. I get that Pikachu, but the thing is, they didn't just show Pikachu. They showed Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Greninja. And I get it, they're all RPGs, but like when they revealed Hero, we didn't see any Pokemon. We saw, you could say, but because of the sword fight that was going on, it was a different type of trailer. I just feel like maybe, I know it's a stretch. I know this entire thing is a stretch of like looking into it, although it's a stretch, but if it turns out to be right, genius move to play. Because I've already seen people talk about the Konami and the connections to Konami and to Square, not Square, to Sega. I haven't seen people really bridge in to bring in Pokemon into it, because like not a lot of people noticed or talked about the Pokemon part. But to be counterpoint, I just remember in the Joker trailer, although it's not really the characters they show up. No, sorry, not really the characters that show up. Pikachu does show up in one of those little white silhouettes when the Joker persona things, monsters lose their faces. So maybe I'm reading way too much into this. Of course, I am reading way too much into this, but it's a fun way to do it. But I think like right now it looks like I could be, obviously I'm possibly almost 100% going to be wrong, but I think looking at these three, and like they had to possibly negotiate with them, keep negotiations going. Heck, some have brought up the fact that like you could see that Nintendo Square were keeping a little bit of a closer relationship throughout this entire second pass, because or leading up to now, we have had Square spirits coming outside of Dragon Quest. We had the Trials of Mana and the Octopath Traveler spirits coming in, which haven't happened for a lot of them. I also thought, for example, that we possibly could be getting Capcom a representation, but like the whole leak has, the fact that the huge leak has happened and we haven't heard much from a possible Smash deal kind of puts me off on it. And looking at it, like Konami, Square, Microsoft, and Sega were all in the trailer, and obviously Pokemon is in there, and I think it could include it. It would be interesting to see like all these companies are still in negotiation with Nintendo and allowed their characters to be in the trailer. So I think like it could be that. That's why I'm thinking like it's a slight tease that isn't a tease until we think. Yeah, Pikachu, like actual Pikachu, it was the first trailer he showed up was that. Technically speaking, it's the first time we've seen any of the Pokemon in a trailer. Because although Mewtwo and Greninja show up and Pikachu show up in the World of Light trailer, it's the World of Light scene, cutscene ripped straight from the game. The Pikachu is just I believe a little bit of a thing in the Joker trailer. Although I could be misremembering, and it's like it's actually just Ness that I'm remembering, and for whatever reason I'm assigning it to Pikachu uh, in the Joker thing. But I think it could be that all these three would be in there. And looking at it, obviously with Sephiroth being in, I think most people it's a little bit of feels wrong not to mention the possibility of Eggman also joining Smash now. Now that we have the door open, I think Eggman could possibly be a character that they would include. Um, oh, sorry, just I was going to scratch my ear and I accidentally hit the mic because this is a headset mic. Sorry about that. Um, but with all these or four like 4 or 5 companies involved in the trailer. Um, and most of the other characters just being 100% Nintendo owned, I feel like we could possibly be seeing like a little bit of a hint of who could it be. And if it is like that, who could be from these 3 companies? Looking at Sega, I would say Eggman. I talked about Arlie, but I believe Eggman would be possibly the best choice. More popular, more well-known, and a character that I think people would be far more accepting. Everyone is here, yeah, but that really I mean, the worldwide thing again, it's just taken from worldwide. And then again, Pokemon had to approve. The ones with Pikachu was the Everyone is Here trailer and him being one of the shadows. Yeah, I forgot about that. That is the only time, technically speaking, we have him in CGI. Is him showing up in Everyone is Here. Then obviously the worldwide cutscene, him getting blasted away. Funnily enough, with Sonic, who was also in this trailer. I forgot about Sonic being in this trailer. Which also is a very cute moment of having, and it's also a little bit weird seeing CGI Banjo with CGI Sonic next to the Inklings. It's weird, and I don't think anybody would believe it if they had been told at the beginning of Smash Ultimate. This is a scene from one of the trailers, especially after like the game is done. They announce all the characters, but before they say DLC is coming. Which would be weird to see it. It's a weird trailer. But what else? Okay, so then we have Konami. Konami's the one where I'm really stuck on who's gonna be or who could it be. Because, like, they could bring in a second Metal Gear character. I kind of don't see it. We already have Bomberman as both an assist trophy and a Mii costume. I feel like they wouldn't have done the Mii costume if they were gonna do the DLC. And I don't think yeah, he was helping, almost helping. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. I mean, I don't think it would have mattered in the whole grand scheme of things. I know Sonic fans, a lot of Sonic fans were like, "Oh no, he could have outspeed the Gleam's blast," despite the fact that even if Sonic traveled at the speed of light, it's very unlikely he could have outrun that, given that destroyed the galaxy in like 2 seconds or something. Anyway, going back to the Konami thing, I don't know exactly who Konami could bring in, because I'm thinking like they could bring in Alucard, but he's an assist trophy, so maybe he could be the character that would break the assist trophy rule, which honestly I hope it's never broken just because of Waluigi fans being 100% the worst. And I know they're gonna say only one or few of them send bad things to Sakurai, but I've seen them being not so good. But then again, it's much more of the defending basically that happened to the other ones of like, oh, it was just a feud, we're all like that. It's like, own up to it, say the guy was a piece of shit and move on. The whole thing like, minimalizing it seems like the wrong thing to do in my opinion. But anyway, Konami again, it's a weird one to pick. Maybe they could do what's his name, the blonde guy from Metal Gear 2. Is it Raiden? No, that's that's not final. Mortal Kombat character. Raiden, I forget his name. He also was the main guy from Metal Gear Revengeance. Maybe they could do that. Maybe they could bring in Big Boss Man, probably not. They would have probably done it as an Echo. Uh, I don't know many more Konami. Frogger, Frogger would be funny. Frogger would be funny, actually. You know what? Let's go with Frogger. That would be funny as all hell. That would be funny as all hell. Especially if like it's not like we get like Eggman revealed first, and this type of theory goes further, and people start speculating on who could it be. That'll be funny if Frogger from out of nowhere shows up. Because I mean, it's like one of the very few classic characters there's not in Smash yet. That'll be funny to see. Oh, that'll be so fucking funny. I can already imagine the meltdowns. Oh, dude, that'll be so fucking. I know some people they be like, oh, they didn't put Sora in, but they put a frog in, or like they didn't put Waluigi, but they put a frog in. Fuck you, Nintendo, and fuck you, Sakurai. Oh, that'll be so oh yeah, please. Let's go with Frogger. That'll be hilarious. Oh wow, I'll just killed himself again. And I don't. And well, actually, I don't think I think I'm gonna leave the screen in here because like I only have a few more things to talk about, and then I think this stream can end, and then we have the direct later on tonight. But for the Pokemon or the Pokemon with the franchise, obviously will be Pokemon Gen 8 stuff that they're going for it outside of just crazy speculation theory that comes from seeing characters in a trailer. It will be, well, next year's the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Pokemon is a big franchise. Sword and Shield, for as much as some people don't like it, and it could be a better game, I'll fully admit that. It's a fun game, but it could be a lot better. Pyramid Head, yeah, Silent Hills. And yeah, not only Pyramid Hill could now be in as well, because like beforehand I probably would have dismissed Pyramid Head. It's like, it will be cool, but it's not mascot or the playable character. But Min Min kind of broke the playable characters or the mascots getting first. So that's why I'm now personally I think 100% Sans is going to be a character either in the next, be it a Fighters Pass 3, possibly Fighters Pass 3 and DLC, or Smash Ultimate Deluxe or the next Smash game. Pyramid Head would actually be a cool idea too. And Konami does seem open to bring in Pyramid Head to other things. Pyramid Head, I think it's in Dead by Daylight, if I'm not mistaken. So we could actually see that. I think that would be actually really cool to see. And then we don't have any horror game characters yet. We have, technically speaking, an assist trophy with the Fatal Frame girl. Hi was, and it will be cool to see more villains in general, and it would be an interesting character to say to play. But let me just look up Pyramid Head for one single second because I want to see something before I actually say what I'm about to say. And let me if the thing was okay, it is typing. Okay, it's allowing me. Why did I have to say it out loud that I was gonna swap pieces out? If I never said anything, my PC probably would have still been working mighty fine. The moment I say I'm changing a few pieces, it immediately goes to crap. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say he did have a huge ass sword, and that some people would be complaining about another anime character with a sword, despite the fact that most of them ask for an anime character with a sword. It's funny. It didn't happen too much this time with Sephiroth. But you know that if Sephiroth was not a popular pick, they would have absolutely been on Nintendo and Sakurai's asses about an anime character with a sword. Despite the fact that they keep only asking for anime characters with swords. And then they complain that the duality of the Smash community is incredible. It's incredible hype. And it's not one of those things like, oh, it's a part of the fan base that does it, and the other part it doesn't do it as much but want it. No, it's sometimes the same person. I've seen people say they want Sora and then complain about a character like Hero because he's an anime sword fighter. Yeah, Rayman would be nice. Nintendo and Ubisoft are friendly, but I like in the beginning of the year, I was very much more into the idea of Rayman, especially before. Oh, yeah, very much into the idea of Rayman being in, and I thought like almost 100%. If you go back to watch my predictions video, I think from January about Volume 2, I was like, he's gonna be in. Um, he's a very likely possibility. That he didn't get a costume when Assassin's Creed and Rabbids did, but he didn't. But now I'm thinking like he was a red herring, and he might just that was a red herring, and he might just be a character, a deluxe costume in the future. Which, it could be that he also is coming with Crash, and my theory works on two of the three characters, and it's not Pokemon, and Crash is the final character. Uh, but we have to wait and see. But what I was gonna say, oh yeah, to finish up, like the Pokemon, who could it be? Obviously, Generation 8 probably will be it. I don't know which Pokemon they're gonna choose. There's a few ones that are going to do, they could choose. That'll be fun. Um, Toxicity will be fun. I think they might go with. I know people. Some people have talked about. I forget the name of it. Oh, Rillaboom. Yeah, Rillaboom being it. I could see it, but I think maybe I believe Cinderace is more popular than it, and I think Inteleon could also be a cool choice. But I think like a Pokemon outside of the starters will be funner and better to see. I think because like we're so like we get so many times we get the starter, and we have so many starters already. That's kind of like, can we get something new? I think Toxicity would be a cool one. I wouldn't be surprised if they put in Melmetal. Um, and yeah, but if this theory turns out to be wrong of the three characters for three things, I still think personally that Sega might get a new character now with the whole thing. I've heard some people. Oh, I mean, here's the thing. If Among Us had exploded last year, there would have been a possibility. I would have been like, yeah, it could be. Sakurai would possibly be down to it. But given the fact that this was done, the deal was done in at around allegedly around E3 last year, it's very unlikely that imposter would go it. Although we might see a Mii costume for an imposter, which I think would be a cool idea. It actually be, I think that would actually be fun. Maybe even with the, I was gonna say a song from the game, but I don't think that like the game does have music, but not too much. Maybe a remix could work. Uh, it would still be interesting to say the least to see it. But also, yeah, I also think I used to think like in the beginning of the year, it's like, oh, definitely we'll get. I think the only character right now that I said in the beginning that I still think is going to be in is Pokemon. Uh, I think that even without the Mii costume, I think we can safely rule out Geno from the conversation. I don't think that we're going to go for the same well too many times for the for the DLC. It's kind of the same way I feel about Sora, even without, even being that it's Disney that owns the copyright. I feel like very much they could be like, well, I don't know. It feels weird going back to like just speculating from the same company. It also doesn't help that like Square Enix has so many characters that so many people will be like, oh, fine, that's cool. Like it does it's a huge benefit for Square, but at the same time, it takes a little bit away from most of them because like you could not be like, oh, it can only be one. And also, that's another thing can I just say for I've seen more of the Sora fans utilizing it this logic than I did Geno fans of the people like me that talked about the Steve not being able to get into Super Smash Brothers because Banjo-Kazooie was going to be the character from Microsoft. Yes, I said it. Other people said it. But most people said for Pack 1, not a possible Pack 2 or Pack 3 or Pack 4. Okay? Right now, I believe that Master Chief won't be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For Pack 2, if there's a Pack 3, I'm like, okay, now Master Chief almost 100% sure that he's in. Now that the other two Microsoft characters are in, Chief most definitely has a chance. Heck, right now, if you tell me there's going to be a Pack 3, say who's it going to be? I right now would most likely go like, okay, Pack 3, the two characters, one that begins, one that ends. Master Chief begins it, Kratos ends it. Because if Sony's down to have Kratos in Fortnite, Kratos is now available on the Switch, Kratos can be in Smash Bros. That would be internet breaking. Do you think? I think there's a shot, but it also depends on how Sakurai wants to do it. Because if it is, actually, let me just put the characters fighting again, because I've been talking for like 10 more minutes after the thing I was going to be like, oh, this is the final thing, and ended up doing even more. If Sakurai wants to go with um, Rex and Pyra, there is a chance, depending on how they were going to work in terms of like the playable style. Then sure, if it's like Rex playing with Pyra in the back, giving him power, like the Blades do in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, he has a chance. I think smaller now, but he has a chance. Now, if it is going to be what Sakurai does a lot of, like, this is the character in the game, let's try to make it as close as possible in Smash. I don't think I even thought about it when I made the video. It all depended on how the budget was, of like Rex with 3 blades, which would be the thing that represented him the most or the best. Then I don't think, especially now, I don't think he is gonna. I still think he's gonna be a character in Smash eventually. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is too big of a game for the Xenoblade franchise to not be a part of it. So I think we're gonna see him with 2 other blades outside of Pyra. I think possibly Pyra and Mithra will be costume swaps, and even effect swaps, quote unquote, in the just aesthetically speaking, of like instead of being a red flame, just a white flame or something that could be in. But right now, especially if the whole thing with it was an actual kind of small tease of like the companies that are still involved are going to be involved in Smash in the future. To be fair, Shulk was a part of the trailer, so it could be one, realistically speaking. Unless like for somehow, some way, there's like a character that slipped through everybody's minds and is actually co-owned by Capcom or not Konami and Sega or something, and nobody really thought about it. And knowing Sakurai, he probably will go for his 3, and he will do it. I wanted Shantae in, but I wanted Shantae in, and I don't think Steve in any way, shape, or form removed her from the conversation. I don't even think like being from an indie character, should an indie character get in, would invalidate most indie characters. Because Steve right now is not. I mean, Steve, I think when did Microsoft buy Minecraft? Was it like 2014? Because if it was 2014, then technically speaking, the conversation began because it began 5 years ago. The conversations to have Steve, so technically he would count. The conversation began with him still as an indie. But if it didn't, it began already with him as a Microsoft character, and Microsoft bought it. I'm not seeing the year. It's always showing me. Okay, there's a YouTube video that possibly could tell me when it was. If it tells me, I'm going to see from when the video was. 6 years ago. So okay, so Microsoft bought it 6 years ago, so it was 2014. The conversation began 5 years ago, so 2015. So yeah, okay. So technically speaking, he already was a Microsoft character, so I wouldn't really say he was. I mean, technically speaking, he counts as an indie character, but he doesn't count as an indie character. He began as indie, but he counts as a Microsoft, big Microsoft rep. So Shantae and like the Knight from Hollow Knight, all of them could possibly be indie characters. I think like the next game, like right now we're kind of exhausting big AAA third-party characters. Like if we think about it, and say that I'm correct in my prediction, and the next 3 characters are a Sega rep, and it turns out to be Eggman. Then it's a Konami character, and it's whomever it is, and we get another Pokemon. Who are the third-party characters that are left? You have Master Chief, that's one. You have Sora, that's another. You have potentially Kratos. Technically speaking, now he counts. He can be a part of the conversation, but I wouldn't really put him in the conversation. He's a possibility, but I wouldn't in any way, shape, or form put him in the conversation, or like be like a realistic conversation. I wouldn't say that like Minecraft Steve, or like then we have only indies, and I think indies are going to be the one like the big step forward for Smash. Going to be like, oh, um, after we get all the characters are missing, we had all those 3 characters missing, or Master Chief and Sora. We get those 2 left, which are really the big ones left. Oh, Ryu Hayabusa and Doomguy. Yeah, Doomslayer can. Doomslayer's chances have dropped so hard. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about the Mii costumes. I'll get it in a little bit. You have Doomguy and you have Ryu Hayabusa. Let's say that the next Smash, and we get the same number of characters that we got for Smash Ultimate in terms of characters and fan requested. For Nintendo, we don't really have many nowadays. From big Nintendo requested characters, we have who? From Nintendo first party, you have Rex, I think, because everybody else has been filled up now. Oh no, okay. Next Smash game comes out, they're talking about it, and the characters, the first party characters. We had how many? How many were the brand new Smash first party characters for Smash Ultimate? It was the Inklings, it was Ridley, it was Isabelle. But Isabelle was kind of a semi-clone, but it was Isabelle, right? That's 3. Let's say next Smash comes out, you have the Ring Fit Adventure Trainer, you have the Astral Chain characters, the twins, and you have Rex as the 3 Nintendo characters. Then for third parties, how many do we have in Smash Ultimate? We had, oh no, we also had King K. Rool. Yeah, I forgot about King K. Rool. Let's take King K. Rool out from that, right? And let's say that we get one extra third-party character. Also, like Smash Ultimate, compared to Smash 4, it also added a lot of characters we need to remember. It's always a thing that most of us forget when talk about it. It's like, yeah, we in terms of just brand new characters, let's say like, yeah, we only had like only 2 third-party characters. Which, oh no, 1 technically. We got the Belmonts, and that was basically about it for brand new characters. We had oh, Bayonetta Waddle Dee. I don't know if I wouldn't say he's likely, given the fact that Sakurai really hasn't shown, or Smash itself has never really shown itself to show a lot of Kirby games love. I know a lot of people say about the Kirby bias, but when you look at it, Sakurai has really only put characters from when he was doing Kirby. And I forget if he was a part of Kirby when Bandana World D was created. And it's a little bit weird that he hasn't been in. You would think that he was one of the most easy characters to add. Sorry for that interruption there, very quickly. Where was I? Yeah, Mineral, do you think it would be one of the most easy ones to put in? We haven't seen it. It's a little bit weird. But Sakurai has not shown a lot of love to the franchise outside, Kirby franchise outside of the games he worked on, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. Very likely. Okay. What was I? Yeah, let's say we get that. We get for a base roster then, like how many? Okay, so how many characters were out? Not in Smash Ultimate. That was Smash 2, but it wasn't in Smash 4. It was well, Link and Pichu kind of already, quote unquote, were easier to implement. But it's those 2. We then had Snake. We had Wolf. We had the Ice Climbers. There was those 5, and I think 1 more character. Right? Or I've already said everybody. I think it was just those. And then we had the implementation of the Inklings. Oh yeah, he developed. Okay, so yeah, I thought Ben and World was more recent. But I believe, yes, if it was Superstar, I believe he was a part of Superstar. I think it was like one of the last games he was a part of. I could be wrong on that. We had those, then we had all the other characters I just said. We had the Inkling, Ridley. Oh, Incineroar was also part of the first party Nintendo characters. Jesus, you sometimes forget how big of the roster it was. Actually, we're just going to see the roster now. Let's actually see even better. Okay, because the last character we had for Smash U, for brand new characters, the last character for U was Corrin. Oh, Bayonetta. Then we had Inklings, Ridley, Simon, King K. Rool, Isabel, and Incineroar. That's 6 brand new characters, with Richter being the only brand new quote unquote echo for a brand new character. Then characters that missed Smash Wii U, outside of those 5, technically speaking 6, but 5, we had the Ice Climbers. So we're at 7 characters now. 7. So Young Link 8, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 10 characters overall, I think. Okay, so 10 quote-unquote brand new characters. Then we had all the DLC, with Piranha Plant most likely being planned for the beginning. So let's say that they don't go with 10 brand new characters for the next game. Let's say they go with 7. So we would have, early on, you have to fill 7 characters. And let's say just go for the most popular requested ones. You would get Master Chief, Sora, Ryu Hayabusa, and Doomslayer from third parties. Let's say Kratos, let's not put him into discussion. We have those 4. Then we have Rex with blades, most likely. You would have, let's say Bandana Waddle Dee, let's say Sakurai finally gave the fans what they wanted. And then you would have either the Ring Fit, probably the Ring Fit Trainer. Or maybe let's say Ring Fit Trainer and the Astral Chain characters gets in, let's say 8 characters, but there's no more echoes somehow, some way. They don't do any more echoes because I didn't count echoes in that counting there. That's 8 characters. Then we go into the DLC. Who's there? Right? They didn't put any indie characters in the base roster. I think like most likely they would go with some indies, or they would leave Doomslayer. Some of the 4 big third-party characters, probably Ryu Hayabusa would stay, and then one of Master Chief or Sora would stay, and then the other 2 would be like big main event stars for the fighters passes that they would do for DLC, or they decide to do. And also depends. This is also thinking about like Smash Ultimate being possible again. It's Sakurai says it's unlikely, but like I don't know how believable that is. You know, like beforehand in 2017, I remember people talking. That's the thing I always like to say. Like a lot of leakers, like Vergeman, I think, is one of those leakers. Like people talk about he's a leaker, but like a lot of times he makes predictions. You know, he's like, oh, he said no fighters cuts for Smash for the next Smash game, and I was like, yeah, but I also made videos where I legitimately said that. Where it's like, oh, people say, how can you improve Smash Ultimate or Smash 4? And I was like, yeah, don't lose any characters, add new ones, and try to get some of the old returning ones. You know, it wasn't like a quote-unquote easy prediction, obviously hard to do, but an easy prediction to make. And I think like next Smash game, it all depends on how some of these companies are up to it. I don't think, for example, Capcom will be too hard to get on board again. Konami seems to be doing very well on the Switch. I don't see any reason to believe they would be out of the next Smash game. The only company again that would be really much like for Ultimate will be Square. It'll be like the more, I don't know if they're going to be okay with this going on. So you know, it's definitely much more of which company is going to be okay with it, and I think most of them will. Microsoft, I don't see any reason for them to be like, hey, you know what, fuck you guys, we're leaving now. So it's much more up in the air. Obviously, most probably like Square will be the only true issue, and I even think Square is now. It all depends on what we see tonight. Might be more lenient into allowing their characters and their stuff into Smash. Also, yeah, I forgot to say that's how bad it kind of is getting for Geno. I forgot Geno completely to bring up in the list of like characters that people want. And I've been saying actually for I think not this entire year, I believe, but I've been saying like I believe Geno when I see Geno in Smash. It's like it feels like every time we get like to this routine of like he's happening, here he is, the boy's in, and then turns out the boy is most definitely not in. It happened way too many times already, and yeah, it all depends on that. And I'm now getting spectators for the next game. But the one thing I was gonna say, and I completely forgot. That's gonna be very interesting for the costumes. Is that if the Mii costumes happen and we get all the Mii costumes that are brought up early, we get Tifa, Barret. For the Final Fantasy ones, we get Gino, we get Chocobo returning. The very interesting thing will be if we get the Mallow Mii costume, the one that was leaked months and months ago. I can believe almost a year ago. If that leaked um, before, and I don't believe it has been debunked. I think the only thing that was debunked was that it couldn't have, that it wasn't possible to mod in Mii costumes. So I believe that's been debunked and it's been proven that yeah, you can in fact do it. I think that'll be very interesting because if we do get it, that means yeah, if the fan base wasn't so toxic, the Waluigi would definitely be in the conversation. And that's also the thing I forgot. Like, you could definitely have some assist trophies that could be definitely upgraded into the next game. Especially if the next game is just take Smash Ultimate. They do, I think, what I think they should do, which I think is take Smash Ultimate and do what they're doing, what Blizzard is doing with Activision, or not with Activision, with Overwatch. It's the exact same game. It's ported, and it's just going to keep on building. And I think that would be the best way to handle Smash Brothers Ultimate, the Smash for the next system. I know some people believe the next system is it's still 5 years away. I don't believe it. Shovel Knight would be one, yeah. I think Shovel Knight, Alucard definitely has a shot. Um, maybe Shadow, because beforehand, uh, a lot of people thought Shadow would be an Echo. Now with Sephiroth, we have the option of having third-party characters being secondary fighters, not just be Echoes. Shadow definitely has earned, let's put it that way, not earned, but like has the door open for him. I completely forgot about the assist trophies upgrades. But then again, I think like how many characters have been upgraded from assist trophies? I think like only one, right? I think like only Little Mac was ever upgraded from a game to another. I don't think any of the brand new Smash characters for Ultimate have been assist trophies. Isaac would be another one. It's insane that Isaac even came back. I think that was one of the worst parts about Ultimate's handling before release was Isaac and Shadow, because both of them weren't announced until like the very last direct, and it allowed people to keep their hopes up. Although, to be fair, for Isaac, the moment Sakurai, people believed in it, but they also doubted it. It was more of a cautious optimism. Shadow was much more of a, I think, like this was poorly done because you talked about Echoes ad nauseum, and you show people Richter Belmont as the first third-party Echo, and then you say nothing about Shadow. You don't show Shadow. For multiple times you don't show Shadow. You had the opportunity, you don't do it. At least they were quick with Waluigi. You know, Waluigi was like that. It's first presentation. Here's Waluigi as an assist trophy. Have at it. They didn't do that with Shadow. Shadow was like back end of like at least it was the first assist trophy they showed in that montage, but they still took a while to announce him, which was a little bit like you should have done it early because you know how the fan base gets. There's things that they didn't showcase that they should have maybe showcased a little bit early. I guess why some of them they didn't. But also, yeah, looking at that and talking about the characters that should be the things they should have done earlier. Looking at Cloud, even if they are changing Cloud's Final Smash, they should definitely change Robin's Final Smash, because the fact that Robin's Final Smash still includes Chrom, despite the fact that Chrom is his own playable character, is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of stupid. But what are you gonna do? Okay, so oh yeah, the Mii costume. Yeah, I was talking about the Mii costume, and I was almost forgetting again. The Mii costume. When we had a leak of Mallow. It included Mallow and what's the name of the thing? It's Cadmus, the demon, like one of the main demons from Doom, one of the most recognized demons from Doom. That was also a Mii hat, and that will be interesting because if that leak, if Mallow comes in, I think it's now or never really for the leak. If Mallow comes in, has its own Mii costume and it's that hat, maybe we could see, it's possible, that we see that Doom guy could be actually a DLC character. It will be very interesting to see because then the door is open. It's like we don't know. We know that this was a leak. If it looks the same, it's like okay, we had the leak of the costume. That leak came with the Doom thing. Skull Kid 2, yeah, not revealing him in that direct. Wait, oh yeah, when? Oh yeah, they didn't reveal it in direct. They revealed it after the direct. Yeah, that's like that was the worst of them all, I think. I forgot about Skull Kid being left not for the direct, but for the screenshots post direct. I even remember thinking like, oh, they didn't show him. Maybe it could be DLC. Oh wow, yeah, I forgot, completely forgot. I completely forgot. That was one of the worst they did. Also, yeah, going back to the Seas trophies being upgraded. Midna with Wolf Link, Girahim, Skull Kid, like Zelda. Like I know people like to like for years complain about like the fact of like lack of DK representation and complaining about like oh there's too many Fire Emblem characters and all that. Like DK now has almost all the characters. I would say DK only needs one more character and it's done. It's perfectly done. You don't need to add more. That's DK. Neatly tied in a bow tie. You have all the characters that matter. You could say that people might say, oh, you could say the same thing about Pokemon and Fire Emblem, and you probably would still defend more inclusion of those characters because technically speaking, those franchises, same thing with Xenoblade, will never be done just because of the amount of characters they always introduce in terms of like who is important to the franchise. Like Zelda needs way better representation. Like tweak my man to Young Link to have the masks from Majora's Mask. Give us some like other characters. I know that they never really do when it comes to Zelda characters that have only been in one game. They did it for Sheik, and that was it. Yeah, Dixie Kong should be would be the last DK character I would add because like it makes no but like who like sure you could add other characters, but why would you? Like you already have the core group. You have who's important for the franchise. You have who's important for the series. Anything else would be a nice bonus, but it could start to feel like a little bit of filler. You know, I once had this conversation and somebody was like, "Oh, you don't need to put in more Fire Emblem or more Pokemon," and I'm like, unless characters start to feel like filler or just added for the sake of adding, I think there's not a problem. I would have more of a problem if they were like, oh yeah, we're now to introduce the next character to Smash, random generated Fire Emblem enemy number 75. It's like, well then, what are you doing? There's other characters you could choose. Do something else. Like if there were, I know kind of Piranha Plant would fit that, but Piranha Plant is an iconic villain, a quote-unquote villain character with an interesting moveset. I don't think a generic guard from any of the Fire Emblem games would work, or like any generated random mook from any of the Donkey Kong games, or even like Cranky Kong. Could be fun, but like, you could have done somebody else. The Cranky Kong has been like really in like a handful of games, and only one of them I think playable that people actually remember or hate. Let's put it that way. If you remember 2013 the Game Awards when they went there with only Cranky Kong to show up with a Metroid pin. God, it really showcases why, the Wii U didn't do so well when they had this type of like big brain marketing decision. Let's go to the Game Awards. Let's have Reggie there with a Metroid pin and let's show Cranky Kong for Tropical Freeze because that's gonna get the fans excited. I mean, if it would have been bad no matter what, but the Metroid pin really nailed it in. But yeah, the Mii costume, yeah, stay focused. Yeah, Piranha Plant was only, yeah, for the Hans, and it's always the what. There's always one what the fuck character. There's always one. Technically speaking, Smash U had two characters with the Wii Fit Trainer, and in a way, the Duck Hunt duo. The same way Rob was, the same way Mr. Game & Watch was. And like, if you look at it, if you remove Piranha Plant, Smash Ultimate would have gotten nobody. And so, yeah, it was much more of a random pick, but one random pick that nobody was upset at, But like, again, you add in like if you added in like a Weedle from Pokemon or a generic guard from Fire Emblem or even a Goomba from Mario, I don't think people would be too happy with those. But Piranha Plant worked well because of how recognizable it is for the what the fucks. And looking at the roster itself, it was like, okay, we don't have a what the fuck character. This works for this game in particular, so let's do it. And yeah, I think like the only thing I left to say for the me costume thing is really the if we do get the Mallow hat, that could potentially mean that we are getting um, maybe a Bethesda character, or that in one of the characters left, might be one that kind of very loosely ties in with um, with Doom. I'm trying to think. When did Vault Boy come to Smash? Was it which franchise? Which character was it that he was in with? Was it Byleth? Yeah, it was Byleth. Okay, there was no connection there. So forget what I just said. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, it might have been a rated M game, but it's like no, Vault Boy came in with and it was Fire Emblem, which although has some themes that could be a lot of war and like, there's not a some Fire Emblem games have a dystopian future, but not one that would work for three houses. But yeah, I guess I've spoken. This stream has been an hour and 17 minutes. Well, this was longer than I thought. I thought this stream was gonna be like half an hour or something. It ended up being an hour long, almost an hour and a half long, over an hour to what I thought I was gonna do. But anyway, thank you everyone from watching. Thank you for the little back and forth, Mr. Armchair Analyst, and thank you everyone for watching. I've been the Legend of TS. Join me. I don't think I'll do a stream. I think I'll just do regular live reaction like I did in the past instead of like what I did for the Game Awards for the Sephiroth thing. And let's see how much from these predictions end up being confirmed or not really denied, but proven false by the end of today. Well, some of them are not going to be, no matter what, proven or disproven today. Especially the character one, which, by the way, very fun. That or funny, I should say. That for a little bit, people thought that we might have gotten a second character in this Sakurai Presents, because the American version, not just the American version, I believe Nintendo on Twitter, until very recently, until like a few days ago, a day or two ago, didn't confirm that there was going to be no other character announcement. Because they did it like immediately after they announced the directs the other times. Like this time, I think the American Twitter and I believe the European Twitter have yet to say, by the way, no other characters. Maybe they'll do it when it's like, oh, by the way, remember to watch. Anyway, thank you for watching, be it live on YouTube and Twitch, or be it when the VOD is up on YouTube and or Twitch. So, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and follow on YouTube and follow on Twitch. And see you guys later today for Sephiroth's reveal, or not reveal, presentation. See you guys then. Bye.